Knowing this information can help your joints, your feet, your kidneys on a carnivore diet. Welcome everyone to my very humble channel. Now let's get on into the subject because I think it's very important that if you are doing a carnivore diet and even a ketogenic diet, that you understand the role of protein in this context. For years, I've been preaching to do moderate to low protein, and now it is coming to a head. Full on, right to that crossroad. I had a consultation yesterday with a guy who was having constant bouts of gout. Now, if you don't know what gout is, it's when you have high uric acid levels. And the high uric acid levels can be very, very dangerous to your body. You can form these crystals, they can get into your joints, they can affect your toes, your big toe typically, and your hand, and start to create wounds from having too high uric acid levels in the body. Another thing that's concerning is people's elevated levels of urea, which is affecting your GFR, the rate at which your kidneys will filter the blood. I've spoken on this subject several times, but having a consultation with someone where it's right in your face, elevated levels of uric acid in this particular case, and constant bouts of gout are dangerous. So what was he doing? The client that I spoke to felt that eating one meal a day would curb his appetite, which it did, but the amount of protein that he was having was over 3 pounds a day. Now, most of you don't do that, but you would be surprised how many clients that I work with, including a large amount of women, that are eating up to 2 and 3 pounds of meat a day because the hunger signals in the brain are going absolutely berserko. And a lot of you guys are developing leptin resistance. There is no signal to tell you that you're satisfied and full. So when you eat that protein, you can gobble it in. He was eating large amounts of protein one time a day. He was doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. If you hear the gurus out there that push 1 meal a day and carnivore are asking for a catastrophe, a lot of people who do 1 meal a day end up having issues with binging on protein. And that's what was going on with this particular client. He binged on protein. I have friends who don't do these diets. They just eat whatever, a soft version of the standard American diet. And they often say, how can someone eat more than a pound of meat in a day or even in a meal? And I try to explain to you that when your body is trying to stabilize the blood sugar, or if you've developed leptin resistance, there is no stop eating button. People can eat and eat and eat protein until they're stuffed, and that's when they feel satisfied. Not way before, which you're supposed to be satisfied when you are just eating, let's say for women, 4 ounces in a meal with some fat and you're good. You're not stuffed. You're not hungry. You'd be shocked how easy it is to slam down a grip of protein in just one meal. The centers of your brain, right? Your blood sugar is like this, blah, 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 or it's down here, and your hunger signals go up, or you develop leptin resistance where that hormone is telling you when to stop. There's nothing telling you to stop. If your fats are not high enough, then perhaps you can digest more quickly protein. But if you have protein and fat, a high fat like the pork belly or pork jowl or the fatty cuts of ribeye, now your body needs lipase and it needs bile salts. There are so many things that your body has to consider when you are consuming a very fatty meat as opposed to leaner cuts of meat, which a lot of you guys are doing when you are binging on protein, doing a carnivore diet, or even a ketogenic diet. Understanding what actually happens to your body or your digestive system when you're consuming too high levels of protein, it's so critical and it's very important. Now, a lot of people are developing high urea, which is affecting the rate at which their kidneys can filter blood, like I mentioned already. So a lot of people are experiencing back pain because not only are they eating a lot of protein and not enough fat on a keto or carnivore diet, but they also are not taking care of their electrolytes, which compounds and compacts the problem of having to filter out the protein waste products. Now, uric acid is coming from purines in meat. And when you're eating all that meat in a meal, over time, people start to develop crystals in the joints. They don't even know it. Monosodium urate crystals are no joke. They can form in your joints, give you a lot of pain, and a lot of people won't make that connection that it's from their carnivore diet. Intuitively, they'll hear a guru talk about adding fruit. So they start adding fruit. Fruit has a lot of fiber. It gives you that bulk effect. So then people binge on fruit and protein, but people are still having high uric acid levels, even though introducing the fruit to sort of curb the binge or the blood sugar dysregulation. That is not a solution to add the fruit. The fruit is a whole nother conversation. I've done videos explaining what's going on with fruit and fructose and how most of it goes to your liver and it has to enter the cells as triglycerides. But let's get into my client. 4 bouts of gout, 1 meal a day, and he came to me not knowing how to fix the problem. Gallbladder issues. So now we're in a quagmire because if your gallbladder is not functioning properly and you're eating 1 meal a day, so not eating enough food throughout the day can back up cholesterol in your gallbladder. Fasting can do that, obviously 1 meal a day. And you're eating high protein. So now we're dealing with the uric acid. We're dealing with the chronic dehydration because your body is hemorrhaging fluid. People don't know how to balance their electrolytes, which is a whole nother video. And they're having problems because you can have both at the same time, high uric acid and urea, hence the kidney pain and the joint pain. This client needed help. So I said, okay, your gallbladder is not functioning properly. Let's go with the fat trimmings. With the fat trimmings, it's going to be easier for your gallbladder to release bile salts. It is much better to binge on fat because you need so many things to break it down. You need stomach acid, you need lipase, you need bile salts, and all of these digestive aids or enzymes must be secreted, and that takes time, plus the chloric acid. Fat is much better to binge on than protein. Protein is going to be reconverted back into glucose, make your blood sugar bounce. Again, I've mentioned that it's like eating a candy bar, but then we have the problem with high uric acid or high urea, eating all that meat. And both are no joke. If you develop gout, these crystals that enter the joint, and they love the big toe, that's when people start forming like an inflammation around that big toe, that joint there. It's bad. It's so bad for your health. Fat trimmings are amazing. Got that. Check. But what else did I suggest or recommend for someone who is having very high levels of uric acid? Clearly, don't eat all that meat. We cut down his protein to around 1 pound, a little bit more, because if you take 3 pounds away and you go to just 1 pound, his brain's going to think he's starving, especially if he developed binge disorder or leptin resistance. So we put it around 1 to 1.5 pounds of meat all throughout the day. It's over the 100 grams of protein that I really recommend for people, but we got to taper down after we were about 105, 110. The goal is to get it down to about 85 grams of protein a day to combat this high uric acid and potentially problems with urea. I also added in olive oil for the short term, a very high quality, not cooked, just poured on the meat, because again, he had problems or has problems with his gallbladder. Doesn't want to go back onto carbs, does not feel good on carbs. I recommended carbs because of the gallbladder, but if we're going to do keto with a sludgy gallbladder, then fat trimmings, olive oil. I suggested gallbladder massaging. I also suggested taurine because it helps with the release of bile. Now the massaging is for his gallbladder I believe they did an ultrasound and the doctor said it was like tight. So massaging that gallbladder and knowing how to do it the right way is really advantageous to get that gallbladder that's tense and starting to back up to start functioning again, along with eating fat. Now that's the gallbladder. His problem was, again, he can't do a high fat in terms of rendered fat like butter or tallow or lard because his gallbladder can't handle it. Hence the trimmings and olive oil. And the point is, get that protein down, down, get that fat up, become ketotic, balance your electrolytes, drink enough water, because that was another problem that he had, was not drinking enough water. Now, people always say, no, I drink almost up to a gallon. But in my consultations, nobody's taking one sip of water. I must sip all throughout the day because I've learned being ketotic for so many years, you just pee a lot, lose a lot of water. You got to be on top of your electrolytes to avoid the pitfalls of high urea, high uric acid, and the problems with poor kidney function, as well as developing kidney crystals from high protein. And why the gurus are not saying this, I don't know. Fruit is not the answer because, again, it creates more dysglycemia and a strain on your liver. And if your liver is strained, so is your kidneys. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Make sure that your protein is moderate to low and that your fats are very high. The goal is to balance your blood sugar and make ketones and also become insulin sensitive, because when you're insulin sensitive, you don't need a lot of protein to build muscle because the insulin's doing the job. All right. You can find me on Instagram at Stephanie Ketogenic, Stephanie the business person on my Facebook fan page. Yes, I've been working on the challenge content all day, so signups again will be coming soon. But just note this, you guys. I'm starting my house build. I'll show you right after this. I'm starting my house build. I'm taking care of my mom with so many legal things. And I moved to a town where I don't know a single soul. But I'm going to do it because life is good and I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm super grateful. Comment below. Tell me, have you had back pain? Have you been dehydrated? Are you not drinking enough water? Your bubble water, your Pellegrino, none of that counts. There's too much air in it. Also, one more thing, note, gout is not just from high protein, it's also from eating a lot of carbs and having high blood sugar and coming from insulin resistance. And then you decide, I'm going to do carnivore. Then you pound down the meat and it's like a cluster fluck of a mess. Comment below and subscribe. Share this content and I'm out.